Wow. It's almost like it was yesterday, 1998, and I went in for my first certification exam with Microsoft. I had been doing Fox Pro, and I had just hurt my back and had laid in bed for 3 straight days with all but only Fox Pro books to keep me company. I read for 3 days, and at the end of those 3 days, my back started feeling better, and I signed up for a test, and I went down to Dade South Community College in Miami, a quick drive from my house at that time, and took this exam called Fox Pro something. Anyways, I passed that exam. You needed 720, a score 720 out of 1,000 to pass the exam, and that day I got 720 exactly. So that started my certification addiction, I should say, and I haven't really stopped taking certifications since. I've been getting recertified over and over, especially in SQL Server. Now here's my own web page, and I use my certifications as a marketing tool. And why shouldn't I? I mean, you have to use what you got going for you. And this is one of the things I got going for me, is that I'm able to study for these tests and pass these tests. I'm going to go through how I do it and how I study for the exams, and also the pros and cons of Microsoft certification. Because there's a lot of people that don't take the certification as being that fantastic thing, and there's some good reasons why it isn't. It isn't the end all in your knowledge or at all. And some people, there's a big range of people that are certified, that some that cheat on the exam, that get copies of the exact questions off the internet, and they read those and they go and take the exam and memorize them, and they pass the exam. Okay, so there's all different ways you can use these exams, but I still use them for marketing, because I don't cheat off the internet and get these people that must, I don't know how they do it. They must take pictures or pay somebody at wherever they're taking the exam. But it brings the value of the test and that down, which I don't like. Anyways, as you see on my website here, I use this. I'm showing that I've been getting certified since 2000 in SQL Server, 2005. 2008, 2012, 2014. Okay, even on my resume, if I go to my resume, this is one thing I really like about Microsoft, is that once you pass the exams and all that, you can go ahead and give people a web link to the certification that proves that you have been certified. So, for example, I list this in my resume, this link right here. And you also have a transcript ID that they use, and they can go right to that transcript. Okay, and when they come into that transcript, they can enter in the transcript ID and the access code I give them, and they click next, and that will bring, so basically the resume is over there on an employer's desk or in their Word. They can click on it and go right to your entire record of all of your certifications, all the tests you've passed, and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, I started this whole addiction thing of getting certified in 1998, and so here's a listing of all the tests I passed. So if you see, look at the very bottom one, on May 22nd, that's down at Miami-Dade Community College. I took that exam, and it was May 22nd, 1998. Then in 2000, I took the Microsoft SQL Server 7.0, administering, and then another one for designing and implementing. And let me tell you about these two tests here, because I had taken a course at work on SQL Server, because I knew I had to get out of Fox Pro and jump on the SQL Server bandwagon back in 1999. And the teacher had all these certifications, and he really inspired me to go ahead and learn and take these certifications. And he told me it was quite good for your career. So I went ahead and I tried to take these 2 exams, and I am going to tell you something. This first exam administering, I wasn't an administrator, I was a developer. And he told me that was the easy one. He told me the second one was a hard one. Well, anyways, this administering SQL Server, I had stopped work and just studied for that exam. And I was 3 months in before I passed that test. And that was full-time study. And I think I failed it twice. I finally passed it. And it was a very difficult time in my life to try to get to that exam. Then, the next week, I went in and took this exam, which had a lot to do with querying and developing and all that stuff. And this was supposed to be the super hard one, and I passed that on the first try. So getting over that first hump sometimes might be the hardest you'll ever have when you start getting these certifications. After that, I kind of got into a routine of how to take these and how to study for them. Generally, when I study for them, a couple of these I had surgery, and I was in really bad shape because of the surgery for a few years. And I remember every day, when I came home, I would just study and just keep on passing more and more of these tests and getting more and more certifications. I didn't exercise or anything because I had all this pain, but I could still study, so I really made the best of my time in those times. So I really studied a lot. But what I would do for each one of these exams, and these exams, I think I would read like 3 books straight, cover to cover, and take the practice tests, and then to go and take the test. And generally, I passed the tests with, basically to pass the test, you gotta get a 70% on the test. So just because you can not know anything about 30% of the test and still get a certification in it. So when you study for these tests, I recommend you go in and take the test. Don't be so afraid that you're going to miss, that you don't know enough, because you never know enough. Never, ever know enough. It's a matter of whether you can pass the test. So a lot of times you do know enough to pass the test. So, and if you don't know enough to pass the test, you might as well find out what you don't know, so you can keep on. So you can go back and buy some books or whatever, and start studying that material that you're weak on, so that you can go back and take the test again, because you can take a retake test. And of course, many times you got to pay for those unless you have a special voucher program or something like that you're doing. Okay, so this is what I can almost tell you I'm a professional. As you can see from this, it looks like I'm a professional test taker. But it motivates me to study in between versions of the programs and that kind of thing, and it forces me to study some stuff I don't feel like studying. And even this week I'm supposed to take one more test to get my MCSE and the BI intelligence, and I just it's Christmas, it's over the Christmas holidays here, and I just been making some videos, and I'm kind of enjoying making the videos more than studying, so I might have to pick it up later. But anyways, that's how it works. So once you pass a certain number of these certain tests, you will become different things. These what are called premier certifications. So basically, to be an MCSE, you got to pass 4 or 5 different tests to get to that level. You can look at it on the Microsoft certification website. But I just want to show you that because this is really nice, because you have a proven record. It's kept track of, like mine is kept track of since 1998. I can post this on my resume to show that I am a professional, and I do get professional certifications. Okay? Now, the bad side of this whole thing is really where these tests are there's people, like I said, they copy it somehow. I don't know how they do it, but they can get these tests word for word and shoot them out of the internet. And then, people just memorize them and go take the test. Well, that works sometimes for them, but, if they get a good technical interview, the technical interviews will be able to identify that this guy really doesn't know, is this a bunch of BS, right? And, I don't want to be in that position. I want my tests, to reflect that I am a professional, and when they do technically, interview me, I of course I still don't know all the answers, but I know a heck of a lot of them. Okay, and it really does help me from the test. But you know, you just cheat yourself, really. And this certification stuff is only one part of a person's profile. Okay, this is not the whole thing. There's some fantastic, great super gurus in SQL Server that don't have one certification test. I'll guarantee you that. And there's guys, that have a lot of them, and that maybe aren't so good. Okay, you never know where you stand. Okay, I know I try to do the best I can, and I try to use these to learn more. I do use practice tests, which I get from Transcender is one company. Self-test software is another one. That's one I use a lot, and Measure Up also. And these are websites that are recommended by the Microsoft certification program, and they recommend them to use for studying for the test. Okay. Another thing I use a lot, and I learned that down in this time frame right in here, and I've used this ever since to learn material. I watch videos. The way I look at it, when someone moves their mouse around and points to this page and that page and this page, right, in 30 seconds, that covers 10 pages in a book sometimes. Okay, so reading a book is too slow for learning a lot of times. Sometimes it's good, but a lot of times, if I can find good videos on material, that's where I go. A picture is worth 1,000 words. A video is worth 10,000 words. So I'm a big believer in finding the right video training courses. I use Pluralsight. I've used a lot in the past. I'm always looking at different ones, and there's so much good material. YouTube, of course, has great material. Okay, so what you have to do is, again, you got to identify what you need to learn for the exam, what parts you're already good at, what parts you're bad at, and the stuff that you're bad at, you need to go and get all the videos lined up and start watching them over and over, practicing on your SQL Server, take your practice tests, and those practice tests are fantastic because they go through great scenarios, really super scenarios that you could come out real life scenarios most of the time. Then they explain why the answers are right and wrong, and they go into much detail. Then they give you nice hyperlinks at the bottom of the tests that give you even more information you can go study. So if you go through a test, you could take 20 hours just if you go through all the hyperlinks and read everything. It's really super, and it's a great way to learn. I really enjoy that type of learning. So these certifications are what helps me there. So to pop back over to my resume, what you'll see here, there we go. At the bottom of my resume, I list all my certifications. Okay. Some people list less. I kind of detail it out. I think it helps me get in the door to interviews. I really do. And a lot. And if you can't get in the door to an interview, you're not going to get a job, get the contracts, right? So this helps me get interviews. Isn't the end all, that's for sure, because once you go to the interview, you got to interview well and answer their questions, because good interviewers are going to have technical questions, or at least they're going to get a feel for what you know. And when you go to those interviews, I recommend elaborating. When you get a question you know a lot about, start talking about it. Start telling them about the experience you have with that technology. Okay, this is stuff they want to know. Even if you might be talking over their head and they don't know, at least they hear you saying, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He seems to know what he's talking about, and at least he knows how to talk. At least he knows how to express himself. We don't have to dig stuff out of the person. He's transparent. So my point is that these certifications are good. Okay, I'm glad I got them. Boy, at the beginning I needed them when I stepped into SQL Server. I didn't have that much experience, and I had passed a couple certifications, and I swear to you, those certifications got me in the door. If not, got me a job. Okay. Of course, I had a lot of Fox Pro experience, so I was pretty good in querying and all of SQL querying and all that kind of stuff already, and I understood systems. But anyways, I highly recommend it. I want to show you when you go into the, I want to show you that when it happens when you go into the Pearson VUE site. This Pearson VUE is where they're giving the test now. This is where when you want to sign up for a certification, Microsoft certification test, you'll go in here and you get in, you choose where you want to take the tests. Okay, this one's Computer Minds and Euless, Texas, which is nearby where I live, and it will go ahead and let me go ahead and schedule exams here. So they have the 29th and the 30th open. I can go to January. Looks like right now they're not showing much for January, but this is where you sign up for the test. Microsoft Pearson VUE. You go to Microsoft certification program, Google that, and look up and figure out where you're going to be. And once you're get into the program and you pass, you get certified, you'll be able to go into the MCP site, which is Microsoft Certified Professional, and from there you'll be able to, they have all sorts of things for you to. They have benefits and discounts and some other stuff there, but you have to look into the program. But VUE is where you can take the test. I think they even have it where you can take it from home now. I never do. I just go down to the testing center. I usually have to. You have to set up the test like a day and a half beforehand to be able to get to the test. You can't just set it up that morning or something like that. So, anyways, and there are times I usually take them on Saturdays so I don't have to skip work, and no one knows I'm taking the test. So if I don't fail it, no one asks me. So I don't have to tell them. But a lot of times I pass the test, but there's definitely not all the time. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and go get certified. Thanks. This concludes this video. Please come and see more of my videos at www.sequelcoop.com. Thank you.